Diaz Mejores. The series follows 5 characters who come together in a peculiar grief therapy for parents who have lost their partner. Series of 10 episodes. This drama and comedy series has an original story that, although it's a comedy, it has parts that are dramatic and emotional. We liked watching it because of the good message that this production conveys, since it showcases in a realistic way the hard moments that derive from the loss of a loved one, showing with optimism how, despite the wounds, sooner or later it is possible to laugh, love, and above all, to live again. The humorous aspect is decent and respectful considering what the series is about, and is not at all exaggerated. We found all the performances of the entire cast to be good, as they were credible, realistic, and not staged or fake as in other productions. To this entertaining and uplifting series, we give it 3 stars out of 5. 800 meters. In 2017, Spain suffered 2 terrorist attacks perpetrated by young members of its community. How could this happen? This incisive series investigates. Documentary series of 3 episodes. We are not in the habit of watching many documentaries, but we found this docu-series interesting to watch, and we were not disappointed. The way in which the event is presented is easy to understand, with good and understandable explanations of everything that happened that fateful day in Spain. It is not an exaggerated or unnecessarily long production, but concise and respectful enough that it does not bore you. If you like documentaries that explore dramatic events like this one that have happened in the world, this production is worth watching, so we give it 3 stars out of 5. Eridas. The story follows Manuela, a woman who moved away from her adoptive family, living alone in a marsh to study birds. Traumatized by being abandoned, she always said she would never be a mother. Series of 13 episodes. This drama series is based on the Turkish series Mother, and this one in turn was a version of the Japanese series Mother created by Yuji Sakamoto. We found this series not only interesting but quite dramatic, realistic, sad, and full of emotions. We've watched the first few episodes and we really liked it. There are many parts that make you think of what would you do if you found yourself in a similar situation, and that is an aspect that we liked about the story because it makes it more credible since one can relate to it. The performances of the entire cast are good, as are the production elements of the series. To this good production, we give it 3 stars out of 5. Historia de Protegidos. 5 short fiction stories that will serve as a link between the first and second seasons of Los Protegidos, El Regreso, miniseries of 5 episodes. We have not seen this miniseries yet, so we can't comment on it. La Edad de la Ira. A man is allegedly brutally murdered at the hands of his son Marcos, a teenager with no apparent problems. The tragedy falls like a jug of cold water in the school where students and teachers wonder what went wrong. Miniseries of 4 episodes. This teen drama miniseries, based on the novel of the same name by Nando Lopez, has a story that is not only interesting but realistic, raw, emotional, and sensitive to the subject it explores. It must be taken into account that the subject matter of this production may be one that some will not be interested in watching, or may find it somewhat controversial or even annoying to watch on the screen. So decide to watch it or not according to your tastes. Many critics have praised this production and have said that it's a good and respectful adaptation of the novel. To us, it seemed an entertaining miniseries, moving in its own way and full of emotions that kept us interested until the end, with good performances from the entire cast and with decent production elements, highlighting the visual elements and the soundtrack. That's why we give this production 3 stars out of 5. Once upon a time, happily never after. A couple forced to separate must find each other in another life to break a spell on their town where no one can fall in love. Series of 6 episodes. This fantasy musical series has a story that, although it sounds nice and cute to watch, is unfortunately captured on the screen in a weak, silly, complicated, ridiculous, and exaggerated way. There are parts that are unnecessary, like the scenes where Sebastián Yatra is half naked, which rather seem to have been added to cause some excitement among Yatra's fans and nothing else. Were these scenes really necessary? Not at all. The story did not need scenes like these and others that we have not mentioned, since they spoil the production and take away its credibility. Production elements such as the cinematography, costumes, set designs, makeup, special effects, and soundtrack are decent, but far from being very good or excellent. Some of the songs are, in their own way, enjoyable, but do not help to make this production better in its entirety. The performances are usually decent, but some are not, and it is easy to distinguish the actors who do not act very well. Yatra's performance seemed average to us, and as the saying goes, shoemaker to your shoes. Well, the series as presented seemed to us average and even bad in its entirety, but we give it 2 stars out of 5 and not 1. There are many critics who say that this production is among the worst Spanish series released on Netflix. We recommend that you watch 1 or 2 episodes and watch for yourself if they are really right. We will see if by a miracle there is a second season. Operation Black Tide, November 2019. A narco sub of precarious construction crosses the Atlantic Ocean with 3 tons of cocaine inside. Inside, 3 men survive storms, strong currents, breakdowns, hunger, fights, and constant police harassment. Series of 4 episodes. This drama and crime series, based on the true story of the narco submarine found in Galicia in 2018, is interesting, dramatic, exciting, with a good dose of suspense and emotional parts. The story as showcased kept us hooked from the start, although there are some parts a little weak, exaggerated and slow, but these do not detract from the validity of the production and do not diminish your interest in continuing to watch it. The production elements such as the cinematography, set designs, makeup, sound, and special effects are all good, as are most of the cast performances, but there are some supporting actors whose performances we found to be average or even bad, and not at all convincing. To this entertaining production, we give it 3 stars out of 5. We inform you that a second season is already confirmed. Rapa. Amparo Seoane, the mayor of the Galician town of Cedeira and the woman with the most power in the area, is murdered. Investigating the crime will become an obsession for Maite, sergeant of the Civil Guard, and for Tomás, the only witness to the murder. For Maite, looking for the killer is a must. Series of 6 episodes. This crime series has a story that at first seemed somewhat slow, but as it unfolds, it gets more and more interesting and intriguing and ends up hooking you. There are some parts somewhat weak and slow, to be honest, but these do not spoil the production, as you don't lose interest to continue watching it. The performances of the entire cast are decent, highlighting that of the main actress. The production elements, such as the cinematography and set designs, are all good. To this production that, in its own way, keeps you entertained until the end, we give it 3 stars out of 5. Centimos Las Molestias. Rafael Müller is an acclaimed conductor, and Rafael Jimenez is an old rock star. Both will struggle to keep fitting in a fast, young world that insists on taking them out of the game. Series of 6 episodes. We haven't seen this series yet, so we cannot comment on it. Sin Límites. In August 1519, under the command of the Portuguese Ferdinand Magellan, 239 sailors left Seville for the Indies. 3 years later, only 18 starving and sick sailors returned in the only ship that withstood the voyage, led by Spanish sailor Juan Sebastián Elcano. Miniseries of 6 episodes. We haven't seen this miniseries yet, so we cannot comment on it. Venga Juan. In his new life, Juan has time for many things, but not for his wife Paula, his daughter Eva, and his former press chief Macarena. But everything falls apart when Logroño appears. Some papers that involve Juan in a corruption plot, so he will do whatever it takes to avoid going to prison. Series of 8 episodes. Venga Juan is the 3rd series starring the famous politician Juan Carrasco, sequel to Vota Juan and Vamos Juan. We haven't seen this series yet, so we can't comment on it. Wrong side of the tracks. When his teenage granddaughter falls victim to the drug dealers overtaking his neighborhood, a fed-up war veteran takes matters into his own hands. Series of 16 episodes. This drama and crime series, originally released on Telecinco in Spain, has 2 seasons of 16 episodes, but only the first season of 8 episodes is available so far on Netflix. This series has an interesting and dramatic story that really keeps you hooked from the very start, with many parts full of suspense and strong emotions. The performances of the entire cast are good, especially that of the main actor, as well as the production elements, which further enhance this production. We give this entertaining series 3 stars out of 5.